I want to know who you are. So, leave me alone first." The phrase came out of the mouth of a man who had been considered the center of the universe by many. A phrase that is usually said by someone who is heartbroken or sad by life. But this time more is heard, and more is heard because it comes from the mouth of a golden BTS magnate, Jungkook. The world seemed to be growing for a moment. The eyes begin to glaze over. What does that mean? Why did he choose himself? What the hell is going on? The statement was made in an exclusive interview not previously mentioned. The interview, which was initially only discussed as a promotion against post-conscription, turned out to be the most open and dark idea Jungkook had ever put to the public. And right then, social media was growing. The word "living alone" instantly became a global trending topic. But the question is, what got Jungkook to this point? Is this the pressure of a career as a global star? Is it because of the internal conflict that has been going on? Is there a secret love story that finally happened? Or does this contradict old wounds that have not yet healed? One thing is for sure, this decision did not come from a sunny place. This comes from the depths of the soul of a Jungkook who has been waiting for the results for a long time. As Jungkook sat in front of the camera, looking at a dark hoodie and a face that looked dirtier than usual. There was a different aura. Not the aura of stars, not the aura of ordinary people who want to talk, who want to be heard, and who want to be the perfect project that the world has been using to change their society. "I love the army, but I'm also human. I can always be strong," he said softly. This sentence is like an example for many fans who have been thinking about Jungkook other than being fine. But who would have believed that the brightest drowned man on stage was seen secretly quarreling with himself? It's no secret that the pressure in the K-pop industry is extreme. However, the public still considers the fact that behind the perfect hairdo, precise choreography, and the sound that shakes the stadium, there is a human being who can transform silently in a car, in a hotel room, or even in a stage toilet. And Jungkook is now doing it, bitterly, with a heavy burden that he has often become an idol and become himself. "I'm starting to forget who I really am. Or because I have to," he said, pointing down. The camera points to Jungkook's hand holding tight. There's tension there. There are wounds that are invisible, but felt. And when the interviewer asks, "Are you alone right now?" Jungkook nodded slowly, but not a nod full of keys, but rather the nod of a person who has just accepted the harsh reality. "Yes, and maybe for a long time ahead, I'll choose myself." The soldiers who carried out the attack made social media with the support of shock, heartbreak, not shame. Are we still waiting? Does he feel alone with us there? We thought we did enough to make him happy, but as it turns out, the root of Jungkook's despair is much more complex. It's not just about routine or fan pressure. There is something deeper. There's a gaping wound. And most worryingly, it deals with family trauma. In his confession, Jungkook stated that one of the things that scared him the most about building a relationship was that he hadn't really returned from his childhood wounds. "I used to see my parents fight a lot. They loved me, yes. I learned that love can change into something better. Say it makes many people digitize the Bible." Jungkook, who has always been considered the son of a harmonious family, turned out to give a short story that he had never shared before. He admitted that he often felt that if he got too close to someone, he could hurt. "Sometimes I have to think about bad possibilities. And finally, I choose to go first. Not because I don't want to be told or loved, but because I don't want to disappoint the one I love." It was like a poison that entered the hearts of his followers. Jungkook, the idol of the world, the man who is considered an old man, the man who seems to have everything, even fear. And it's not the fear of losing a career, it's the fear of losing the man he says he is if the relationship fails. Why Jungkook to live alone must end from the hope of fans will live happily? Is this the beginning of continued emotional isolation? That doesn't mean I have a partner. But first, I want to learn to write on my own. Maybe the closeness is selfish, but that's what I've never done right. After that, the committee continued platform sharing. Many cried. Many feel comfortable. Many also swore Jungkook had finally won and dared to take steps to make it happen on his own. But of course, the pain can't be eliminated. More than that, there was wild speculation. Why will Jungkook take another hiatus after enlistment? Does this mean he will turn down offers of dramas, solo projects, or even reunions with other BTS members? To date, there has been no official confirmation from HYB. But an internal source stated that Jungkook had long waited to take the long shot of the entertainment world after being considered for military service, not because he wanted to relax, but because he wanted to see it for himself. And amid the furor, one surprising fact reemerges. Jungkook rejects reality TV about the search for love. A few months before his enlistment, Jungkook is expected to become a major star as the search for an actual partner program will be taught on a global platform. The show was structured in a format like a Bachelor, but with a K-pop feel. But Jungkook rejected it outright. "I don't want to be in love as a contestant. I want that love to be real, not contact," he said in the interview. Again, a simple but meaningful sentence, and only spoken because at a time when all the K-pop idols were gathered, the race took advantage of the moment to increase its spotlight. Jungkook ran backwards. She became the glamour of true love and chose the right perfection. And that makes it, paradoxically, further and further away, yet also further and further away. Now, armies around the world are gathering in a digital space to share. Some write poetry. Someone made a video tribute. Some just look at the screen and ask inwardly, what can we do so that he knows that he is not alone? However possible, that was the only message Jungkook wanted to convey. "I want to learn to develop myself. I want to know what it feels like to be happy without having to mention everyone." And that sentence, although cutting, is the most important lesson of an idol on his thinking, that loving someone also has an impact on their space to love himself. When those words appeared all over the world, when Jungkook said that he wanted to be alone not because of hate, but because he wanted to be himself, the world seemed to become two. Someone wins. Some are experiencing. There are also those who cannot accept the fact that their star, their light, chooses to retreat from the sorting center. But behind the tears and excitement, this decision should take away one big clue that many don't know yet. Jungkook isn't crying, he's getting up. Some fans liked one pattern in each of Jungkook's remarks in the interview. He didn't say stop. He didn't want to leave the music world. The songs featured in this album are Become More Champion, Make Music from the Heart, and No Longer Live by Expectations. And it is a powerful picture that it is possible, after this alone time, Jungkook will return, but as the most authentic, most human, and deadliest version of himself. But to get to that point, he had to wait for time. And the decision to choose one's own life is the first step of a long struggle for recovery that will take place, or without disasters around. In a follow-up to the interview, Perfective asked, "When was the last time you felt truly happy?" And Jungkook's answer was as follows: "Maybe when I was a trainee, before it all started. The army was immediately glorious." How can a person who has reached the peak of world popularity say that happiness finally became before he became nobody? At the starting point, Jungkook's change became a great reflection for the Korean entertainment industry in the world. This also applies to artists who often perform in comparison with achievements and awards,